What did your father do to your mother that still deeply affects you today? My mom and dad were high school sweethearts. They became sweethearts when, at a church function for teens, my mom's boyfriend decided to pair up with another girl. Mom was hurt and furious. There she stood, in line, and alone. My dad was in line behind her. He had seen mom's boyfriend desert her for the other girl. He had seen the look of humiliation and anger wash over mom's face. He also thought she was pretty cute, and a sweet girl, so as the line started moving, he just stepped up next to mom and stayed with her during the whole event. After that they were pretty much inseparable. They said they broke up a couple of times, but always ended up back together. They were a couple. Dad was a year ahead of mom in school, and he graduated and found work, and my mom continued on with her schooling, but they were going steady by then. It was time for mom to graduate, and although there was no formal proposal, they knew they would get married. And they did get married. My dad joined the army, got stationed in Germany, and as soon as they saved enough money, mom followed him. I was born in Germany in 1958. The next year a baby brother arrived, and another baby brother was born 2 years after that. The little family of 5 was complete. We followed dad to every duty station except for one, and that was when he went to Vietnam. Mom and dad never hid their love for one another from us kids. Dad would grab mom out of the blue and plant a big kiss on her mouth. Or he would walk into the kitchen and take her into his arms and they would waltz away from the sink full of dishes she had been washing. And he had a little happy jig he would do to make her laugh. It was no secret that they loved one another. They also presented a united front to us kids at all times. There was very seldom any bickering between them, and if they did argue, they did it behind closed doors out of earshot of the children. Mom always thought of dad, putting him first always. And dad did for my mom. Mom never had to hang a picture or put together an item of furniture. When something broke, my dad fixed it right away. Dad was a career military man and mom worked civil service jobs. They made sure we kids had everything we needed, and most of what we wanted. No matter where dad was stationed, we always lived in nice houses in nice neighborhoods. Mom and dad worked hard to take good care of their kids. One thing always stood out in their relationship, and that was that my dad was completely devoted to my mom. As a teenager, I was sometimes defiant, and would go to my dad when I had a problem with my mother. Dad had a way of showing me that he understood my side of things, but he never wavered in standing behind whatever mom said. There was never a holiday where dad didn't give mom a nice gift. And if they argued, my dad would find a way to make it up to my mom. I will never forget the first, and one of the few times in my life, I heard my parents argue. We lived in base housing in Bad Tolz, Germany, and one night I was awakened by raised voices. I was in 6th grade. The next day I was playing outside, when I saw my dad walk up the hill toward our building, carrying a dozen beautiful red roses and a small box with Chanel No. 5 on it. It must have been a doozy of a misunderstanding for him to make up to her in such an extravagant way, but those roses lay on the end of the kitchen counter until they wilted and were thrown out. But they got past it, whatever it was, and my mom still has that empty Chanel No. 5 bottle in her dresser drawer. My dad did something to my mom that I will never forget. He respects her. He never speaks down to her or calls her foul names. He cares for her and gives her the best of himself and the best life he can provide. He has never shied away from showing his adoration for her. He has always supported her financially and emotionally all through their marriage. My dad is now 82, mom is 81, and they are just as sweet as ever.